Hey everybody, we back again.
We back.
All right. I'm Spencer, and of course we have our licensed clinical therapist, Naz.
I'm Mario.
You're what?
Mario.
There you go. I thought you
Dr.
said
Marley.
Marley. I was like, who?
I'm Dr. Marley. Dr. Bob Marley.
And this is a Different Spectrums podcast where we talk about movies, shows, and the mental health aspects that surround them. We also like to have some laughs, so don't take us too seriously.
Or do. That's up to you.
Also, don't forget to run up those likes. We'd really appreciate it. Actually, you know what? This is what we're going to do. We're going to get right into it. That was on the pod. Yeah. Now it's just being weird. All right. Today we're taking a look at a few scenes from the Super Mario Bros. Movie.
Yeah.
Starring the Chris Pratt and Wario, apparently. He'll be in the next one.
Yeah.
Wario. Yeah, we're going to be taking a look at a few things. We're taking a look at self-care. We're also going to be taking a look at power-ups or feeling better. And then also being validated or not being validated.
I validate you, Spencer.
Oh, I validate you.
And
you're barking.
Jesus. I validate all over you.
Yes. All right. Well, anything before we get to the show, Naz?
Spencer's like, well, there goes our sponsors.
Yep. It was nice knowing you.
It was nice knowing you. I go right to prison. No, this is a Monday release. Last Monday was tough because we're talking about a lot of hard stuff in the Dolomite episode that me and Spencer did. Being invalidated with the family and the parents and like just feeling like you're a piece of shit always and that you're destined to be nothing. So today we're going to do a little touch on that. I think it's a quick scene to show on how it could feel with your family. A lot of you will vibe with it. I think we're going to have some fun about power-ups. And then we're going to talk about, maybe how it's hard to be the hero in your own story, but sometimes you just need a star.
No matter who you are.
You just need a star. I don't know what your star is, but you need one.
Yeah, you need it. And it's cocaine. All right.
Yeah, it's a hell of a drug.
I'm a star. I'm all shaky now. I feel the invincibleness. All right.
Feel it. Last thing, remember, folks. I don't know why I'm using this bottle. Remember, folks. We've got the polls and questions. If all of you that listen on Spotify, please go ahead and check those out. Go ahead and put some stuff in there. Answer the polls. Also on our broadcast channel on Instagram, you're more than welcome to fill that out as well. And remember, if you want to DM us any memes or reels that you think that could be beneficial for mental health, go ahead and send it to us. We put that on our story. Some of you have been doing that. Much appreciated. Keep it up, and let's keep the engagement up. Let's get into it. Let's have some fun. Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop. Hey, are you a nerd? Do you like pins? If you're like any of our followers and you said yes, you should check out our collaboration with Pinfinity. They have Power Rangers pins, Transformers pins, and for all of our bronies out there, My Little Pony pins. Go check out our link tree or use our code DSP to get 20% off your Pinfinity order today. For watching our show today, we just wanted to take some time to give a special shout out to our collaborator, Cat and Raven Design. They are a small queer-owned business that specializes in LGBTQ plus pride soaps. They have great designs, some that even look good to eat, but don't. You can get 10% off your entire order if you use the code DSP or go to our link tree. Help support this great small business and help give back to a great community. Hey everyone, we back again.
We back and we live. Beep boop beep boop boop boop. Just like R2D2. Beep boop boop boop. Beep boop.
Wow, sounds just like
Beep boop boop boop. I'm done.
Are you?
Nope.
Okay. Uh so
That
before
made
we
no
get
sense.
into it, nope, shush. Before we get into it, please check out all of our great collaborators like Bub's Naturals, Cure Hydration, Pinfinity, Silver Dollar Candle, Two Nerds Candle Company, and Cat and Raven Company. You can get up to 20% off your whole order if you use the code DSP or DSP20. Um, Also, you can go to our link tree where we have a bunch of resources, and you can click on our collaborators and actually get the codes there. So go check those out, and then also go check out our merch. We have some great things, like different, but not less.
Not less.
Not
You different.
you
But
different,
not less. Not
yeah.
less.
So go check out all of our merch. We have a lot of great things in there, all types of products. And if you have any suggestions on what we should be doing next or colors that you want to see, let us know and we can try to accommodate. And I say try. So yeah, go check it out. So today, like I said, we're taking a look at the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Yes. All of you are probably familiar what Mario is, so I won't be getting into that. It's Italian plumber.
That's
Yeah,
it.
that's about it.
About it.
And they finally made the movie. I mean, they had a Mario Bros. Movie with John Leguizamo.
Fucking terrifying when I was a kid. Terrifying.
There you go. And so wasn't very well received, I would
No.
say. Wasn't very well received. But then this movie came out animated, thank God, and did pretty well. I think it's like 95% on audience rating on
Yeah.
Rotten Tomatoes. And of course, 50 something percent for critics because, critics are fucking
Hate everything.
dweebs.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're going to be taking a look today at our first scene, which is all about the beginnings of the Mario Bros. Right. So Mario and Luigi are starting their own plumbing service, and they finally get a customer, and it doesn't go very well. Doesn't go very well, and somehow they flushed a toilet, or dog down a toilet. There you go. Um, and it's great. It's great. They did a great job, and they destroyed the house. So what are you gonna do? And then finally they come home, and they're getting kind of berated by their family, getting made fun of, like, oh, you're plumbers but you wear white gloves, what the hell is this all about, huh? Why would you do that?
Michael Jackson.
um he um and then we find out also that Mario does not like mushrooms. Who would have thought, huh? I
Yeah.
didn't.
Nope.
Loves pasta, hates mushrooms.
Make
Well,
case them. I don't know who the hell puts random ass mushrooms in their pasta.
not, you know what? I have no idea. There's probably some recipe that
Yeah.
makes you do it, but I'm like, bleh.
I know they got them in some of the pasta sauces, but that shit looked like it was just mushrooms. I mean, I wasn't
Straight
looking to
up
see their sauce, but
That's straight up mushrooms.
I know.
Um, but yeah, and then of course, then Mario goes to his room all defeated and plays his Nintendo, which, yeah, so
Yeah. Vibes.
vibes. So we talk a lot about family, and we talk about just how important, or how we try to prove them wrong sometimes. And so this pod, we're going to be spending a little bit of time talking about the invalidation that we sometimes get, or that Mario gets in this scene. And so, Naz, what are some of the ways that people can really feel invalidated by some of their family members?
Good question. Like we talked about in the last pod with Dolomite, it was more of the like direct abuse and pretty much
Mm-hmm.
saying you're going to be terrible and this is
Yeah.
what you're going to do. This one's a
Mm-hmm.
little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
Still the same, but they've got like this business that they're starting up. They're excited,
Yeah.
and the family's like, "This is terrible. Why are you doing this? Like,
Mm-hmm.
makes no sense. Like, you've already started it, and now they're poo pooing on you." Um, I feel like after the last pod, I wanted to talk about this version of it when you
Mm-hmm.
finally get creative or you finally start to venture out and you become your own person and identity. Is how do I help clients maintain the resiliency to stay doing what they want to do?
Mm-hmm.
Now, in there are some caveats. You might not be able to do fully what you want to do because you might got bills to pay, you got school, so you need to be doing it on the side and not like fully go into it. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But to just give up and to put it away, be done with it, to move on, to allow your dreams to be crushed, that's not fine. So if one needs to hide their special interests or camouflage them and talk about other things when they're really interested in this one thing, that could be it.
Mm-hmm.
One could relate it to um obviously assimilating or like being closeted in whatever special interest that you have. You have the inability to tell people because of the harassment or shame that they will rain upon you.
Mm-hmm.
So working with clients with this is a bunch of different things, man. Special interests or hobbies that people want to do, and we've talked about it with some artists now that we've had on.
Yeah.
Right, there's a bunch of cool things: video games, there's music, there's some sports related things, there's some things where people are like more feminine or more masculine things, and that's against the social norms within the family or the construct of the United States, whatever. But if you stay wanting to do those things, you'll have to find pockets and spaces to do them or times to set aside to do them.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I would recommend finding a community because online is terrible, but finding communities online are actually quite wonderful because you
Mm-hmm.
can get some ideas, maybe have some relationships, some little side talks. Like we started finding these online communities of therapists and different other neurodivergent people. I recently been digging, Spence, and I found out that there's a whole bunch of coaches on like relationships, and it looks like there was even one for just specific for pockets like black and brown, gay folk, right? I was like, oh, okay, there's a lot of different of these
Mm-hmm.
coaches,
Yeah.
wellness mentors, and all. I was like, wow. Some are putting out really good content. Some better than others. Some better than others.
Mm-hmm.
Um, right. Watch out who you follow.
True.
Um, I guess I wanted to bring that up.
Yeah.
Because when someone feels like they can't do what they want to do and they're just getting berated like Mario and they have to go to the room and they're like, oh, fuck it, now I don't want to do anything. I'm just going to dissociate, play games.
Right.
Sadly, until you're able to live the full part of your life, sadly, you will have to designate just smaller amounts of times to it. But I would never fully give up on it. So you're selling people this dream that life will be better one day, but that's really hard because people are so depressed. Sometimes they're suicidal.
Right.
And it's tough to be like, one day it'll be better. They're like, fuck, one day I'm depressed now. I'm getting
Yeah.
harassed or abused now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's tough. So slowly we may work on setting some boundaries with people or trying
Right.
to get them to empathize with them. Like, hey, why you gotta talk to me like this?
Mm-hmm.
Man, I get it. It's all funny and stuff like that, but why are we always making jokes? I don't bug you and tease you about, your failed relationship,
Mm-hmm.
or your kid that's selling crack. I don't tease you about your marriage. I don't tease you about how you bald headed. I don't tease you how you got a peg leg and an eye patch.
Is this is this Captain Hook? What's happening?
Yeah, motherfucker, you got hooked for a hand. I ain't said shit. I ain't even looked at
I
it.
didn't want to say nothing. I'm just saying, ain't you afraid of
Yes.
clocks?
Yep.
Afraid of
I mean,
clocks too.
you don't even go to the dentist, motherfucker. Just be scraping them.
I can't. I don't even know when my appointment is because we got to get rid of all of our clocks.
You you got ADHD? No, man. I'm Captain Hook. I don't like clock.
And alligators don't even try to bring alligators into this.
I'm telling you. It's just interesting on how some people think it's cool to joke,
Hmm.
but they don't understand or empathize, or maybe even care, or maybe they're being bullied, and that it actually legitimately hurts. And I'm not saying like, oh, everyone's soft these days. I'm not. That's besides the point.
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we need to set our boundaries, and sometimes we need to let people know. Obviously, gender, size, there's a lot of things that go into it, because I can say things and be safe where others might not be able to.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember talking to someone a while ago, and they said, people call me stupid. I said, well, I don't know about that. I said, you letting people call you stupid? Well, that's not cool. I know. I'm like, yeah, I'm glad you know, but why are you letting people call you stupid?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess I do funny things, and I'm ADHD, and I may see stupid things, and I'm like, I don't know if it's cool to just keep calling you stupid though. Like legitimate,
Mm-hmm.
they're saying they get stupid, and they feel
Right.
like they're better than you. I said, we might need to think about the people that we're hanging around, and then you break it down, and you find out that they've developed this personality, kind of like me, where they're the funny guy.
Mm-hmm.
And they try to make everyone be comfortable, this and that, and they're making jokes, so everyone's laughing, everything's safe, everything's good. They like the affirmations of people having a good time, and they could be a people pleaser. And it's all fine and dandy until people only see you as that clown or jokester, until people see you as maybe you can't start your own company, or you can't do your special interest. And so some of these personality traits are real tough, because now how do you stand up for yourself?
Right.
People won't take you serious. Like there's a lot of people that don't take me serious because they say who I am. When I go back home for that funeral, and they're like, "You're a therapist?"
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty good at it too. What you got to say?
Mm-hmm.
I told them the story on how I didn't have my driver's license till I was like 18 or 19. I got caught driving without a license a few times. And he was like, "Man, you had your therapy license before you had your driver's license, you
Yeah.
ignorant mother." I was like, "Man, shut up." Small story. I remember I went to go get my permit, and Colin was there with his mom, and he was like, "What are you doing here?" I was like, "Oh, just filling something out for my license." And then he saw me with like the little pink permit slip, and he was like, and his mom the next day was like, "So you don't have your license, do you?" And I was like, "No, I got my license." She's like, "No, you don't." And I was like, "No, I don't."
Just kidding.
Yeah, it was super fucking awkward. He was like,
Yeah. I didn't get my license so I was like in my 20s. I really didn't, because I had
"Okay,
people drive me around everywhere pretty much. And then until I was like, I guess I should get this. And then but I never drove without a fucking license. Jesus.
yeah, no, I was driving without a license since I was like
Oh, good.
13. I was driving in middle school, like couldn't even see over the steering wheel."
Yeah, what's up, dog? Want to get a juice box?
Police man, yeah, pulls you over. You just sitting there in your diaper,
With your high C in your mouth or your Capri Sun. You just
yeah, eye patch and peg leg.
that's why I couldn't see left.
That's why I kept hitting the damn brake light. um, uh, but like legit, man, it's hard for people to stand up for themselves because they may already feel that they are these things.
Mm-hmm.
Mario may already feel like he's a failure, like he's a nincompoop, or like that. He knows that commercial's fucking terrible, so he allows people to say certain derogatory things. So I think this
Mm-hmm.
one is different than Dolomite. How do we start standing up to people, setting that little bit of boundary, throwing it back on them? Like, hey man, I get it. It's funny, this and that, but this shit actually does hurt. I don't ever mess with you and say these things.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I don't ever talk about that. So why are you doing it to me? Well, I thought you could take it. People may think that you can take it because you may present more masculine.
Mm-hmm.
So, right, big boys, big individuals, big girls, whatever. Oh, you can take it. People of color, you can take it because you're strong. But fuck, I still have feelings.
True.
Well, maybe 6'3", 340 pounds, but you say something, you call me a dumb, bald, fat idiot, and I'm gonna feel bad.
Right.
Like, motherfucker, you can't read. I know I can't read. Well, hey, tell me.
And I think that's also like
Go
kind of
ahead.
the problem too, is that like a lot of people that want to give criticism, it's like there's constructive criticism, but once you don't give like constructive criticism, it's like you're kind of treading on like very thin ice, especially with me, because I'm like I am already
In my own head.
yeah, I'm already in my own, like I'm my own biggest critic. And so to have somebody else kind of do it, but in like a very negative way, rather than kind of trying to help build me up and talking through what I could do instead or how I can improve what I'm doing,
Yep.
that's where I start to not like you as a person, because then you're just doing it for your own self, whatever. You're doing it for yourself. You're not doing it for me. You're doing it for you for whatever reason. And so that's where I always kind of struggle with people sometimes, is like they don't know how to communicate criticism in a way that's actually going to help me, instead, because I already know if I'm messing up. I know that. And if I don't know if I'm messing up, then you should probably tell me, but do it in a way that's actually going to be constructive.
So what you're saying is good. Like, how can it help you refine? So giving
Yeah.
you things, suggestions to help you refine, not just being derogatory
Yeah.
and bullying and put down in you and what's the word, patronizing you.
Yeah.
But how can you give them some refinements, some suggestions, but also some validations and affirmation, like all the good coaches?
Yeah.
I remember we did one thing on coaches you had us do a long time ago on Mighty Ducks. What was that coach's
Mm-hmm.
name?
Uh,
Bombay?
Bombay. Yep.
Gordon
Yep, yep, yep.
Gordon Bombay?
Gordon Bombay. Yep.
So right on how he would, the kid misses the winning shot,
Mm-hmm.
affirms him, validates him, all right, and then
Yep.
boom, at the end of the movie, he makes that winning shot.
Yep.
Then the other coach tears that kid a new asshole, and then he freezes up in the game, and then he doesn't even like the coach and he quits.
Yeah. And that was actually Coach Bombay when he was younger.
Oh,
So,
that's right. When Coach
yeah.
Bombay was younger, he got chewed out, and then later on,
Yeah.
he's like, "I want to be better."
Yeah.
Pause. Pause.
Mm-hmm.
Pause. Pause. We just did a shout out for Deion Sanders. I think there's something very important to point out about that game,
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I was
which
just
was
about to do, yeah.
9/16, September 16th. One
Mm-hmm.
of his receivers, number 5, dropped a pass, critical pass.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of chewing him out and yelling at him, being derogatory, hyper masculine, and all that, has a very earnest conversation, talks
Mm-hmm.
to him face to face, human to human, and then he gives him a hug. And then you can read his lips, Deion. This is the coach now, right? This is a masculine, one of the best athletes, talks a lot of shit.
Yep.
He tells the player, "I love you."
Yep.
Bro, when I seen that, I was like, damn, that is why people are going to go play for him.
Yeah. That's why I will always be a fan of him now, because that dude really proved that he's just not there for whatever reason. He's not there for like the fame or whatever, to just, bring just a team up. He's really trying to raise these young guys to be, very respectable people. So,
And that's what Spencer was talking about. There's a way to deliver these things, but also show love and appreciation,
yeah.
validate some good things that you're doing well, with also critiquing, refining others.
Yeah.
I feel
Glad
like
you
a
brought
lot
that
of,
up.
yeah, I just randomly remembered that. I told Pops, I said, this is what's going to win some recruits.
Mm-hmm.
I know if that was my kid, and
Yeah.
I see the coach in a, not a nasty way, say, "I love you," like, "Hey,
Yeah.
man, you can do better. I know you can do better. Let's talk about it real quick. Let's get you back on the field. I love you,
Mm-hmm.
dog. Let's go."
Yeah.
Um, I mean, hell, at the end of our podcast, I say, "Much love, everyone." I mean, some of us just like,
Yeah.
we got it in us. And some
Mm-hmm.
family members just don't. They just want to talk shit. Time and place. Time and place. With certain my clients, people talk shit about their weaknesses or their most deepest insecurities. Inappropriate. I don't ever go up to anyone. I tease you. I tease everyone. I don't ever tease anyone about their deepest insecurities.
No.
No. I'm never like, "Man, you old big leg ass motherfucker, man." like, like, oh, yo, what's that? Krusty the Krab? What was it? Someone in SpongeBob that had like two wooden legs?
Are you talking? Oh my gosh!
Is that
I think first
Captain?
of all, I think you're talking about Family Guy. This is a guy who has like
It's Family
peg
Guy.
leg arms and legs.
Joe, disable ass.
Oh my.
Yeah, like that's like you don't say shit like that.
No, no. Once it's real, that's like
Over
that's.
the line.
I would never make fun of anybody who, like, if it's like a real thing. No,
Yep.
not make fun of it. I'll make fun of, like, they're out. Like, if it's something like, it's just if they're goofy enough to where they can actually handle that stuff, then I'll do it.
Yep.
But yeah, if it's something like legit, like, haha, you're bipolar, like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
How's that funny?
Yeah. Oh, thank you, dog. Yep.
That's not even clever. Motherfucker.
Oh,
Damn.
yeah. Not even clever, dog. At least know the diagnosis before you talk shit, Uh-huh. So I'm glad we brought that up because they hit home a few
Yeah.
different points on how
Yeah.
you can validate and affirm people while also providing legit critiques, criticisms, refinement.
Yes.
That would have been a perfect opportunity to help Mario and his brother Luigi on making a better commercial and helping them with their business instead of shitting on them.
Yeah. So we're like, haha, white gloves.
Yeah. Haha, you ain't shit. And none of us are shit in the house, so we're gonna make sure you ain't shit. That's what that's
Yeah.
about.
Right.
Like my life sucks, so I'm gonna make sure that you know that you suck too. I appreciate that, Pops. Cousin.
It's actually pretty funny that the dad, I think, is actually the original voice actor for
Oh,
Mario.
oh,
I
okay.
think so. I think it's the dad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. All right, those were some of the loose ends I wanted to tie up on that scene. Very parallel for what a lot of people. Let's have some fun and get into the power-ups.
Yes, the power ups. You Duncan? What's
Oh,
happening?
it's punching the thing.
Oh, I thought you looked like you were going forward and being like, "Gah!"
Bitch.
Jordan. Um, all right. So in this scene, so Mario makes it to like this whole new universe, world, whatever you want to call it, and he meets Princess Peach. um,
Peaches.
and peaches. Yeah, yeah.
Peaches.
Trademark. And so before they can go on this big adventure to stop Bowser and rescue Luigi wherever he is at that time. I think he's in like the ghost world. And so they have to. Princess Peach shows Mario the training that needs to come forth before he can do it. And so it's pretty much just like this whole training scene of where he has to now eat mushrooms to enable for him to grow bigger. And yeah, I mean, hmm. Why'd you want to kind of touch on this scene, Naz?
Uh, let's say that Princess is the therapist. It's the
Okay.
mentor. It's the Gandalf. It is the. I'm losing it right now. What's it in Harry Potter?
Dumbledore?
Dumbledore. It's the Obi-Wan, right? It's one of those types of individuals that she plays in that moment. The person that's leading you through this ropes, and you know that you see this fucking what's it called? Like a jungle gym of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, a metropolis. It's like one of them the Ninja Warriors fucking thing on TV. You're like, I'm supposed to
Yeah.
do this.
Yeah.
The obstacle course. That was the
There
word.
you go. Yep.
Knew I'd find it. And then it's got like random ass things and all that. So imagine that as being someone's brain and anxiety
Mm-hmm.
or mental health related things, different disorders, traumas. These are all these things. As soon as you make one step forward, snatch. As soon as you go one step forward, plow, a bomb. As
Mm-hmm.
soon as you go one step forward, you fall, you metaphorically die. You get sucked into some green vat of goo, and then you go,
Well,
meh, meh. Um, and then what do you got to do? You got to eat another mushroom. So she would be the teacher, the professor, the wise one.
mm-hmm.
The course would be the metaphorical life issues and factors.
Mm-hmm.
And the power ups would be you doing what it is to get through that life, whether it be therapy, nutrition, exercise, water, um, understanding your battery, which we just talked about in a podcast that will come out in about a month from now with Keyshawn,
Mm-hmm.
a social worker, military member, and a gatherer and organizer of people and artists.
Mm-hmm.
That there needs to be certain things that help you level up, recharge, recover, whatever it is. For a lot of us, it's going to be downtime.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it's going to be creative outlet. Some of us is going to be like some of my nerdier students, Excel sheets. Some of it's going to be cleaning and organizing and vacuuming and
Mm-hmm.
wiping shit down. Some people it's going to be watching Netflix for 5 hours. Some people like me, it's going to be taking a 12-hour nap on Fridays.
Mm-hmm.
You like, I'm a, I'm gonna take an hour nap. Pop. How about wow? I wake up the next day at like 6 in the morning. I'm like, what the fuck did I just miss? Jesus.
What happened?
Yeah. I'm like,
I
yep,
wasn't even tired.
I wasn't. And I'm like, damn, I'm glad I put that bedpan there.
If y'all didn't know, that loud sound that you just heard, that was me just hitting my head.
Slapping his forehead. Like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Woof. Woof. Um, we all got our things.
Mm-hmm.
So, Spencer, I'll have you go over some of your things real quick. I'm going to talk about, like, I just had a meeting with RA, so I'm going to do a story, hand it to you,
Okay.
and then we'll tie it up. So I was working with some RAs and teaching them self-care because a lot of the, people been to college. These RAs are like just student workers that work at the university in the
Mm-hmm.
dormitories, help people out with stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they deal with a lot of mental. They're like the first line of defense for like almost everything in the housing. And so,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of them are burnt out and stressed, and technically that's a job, and it's a lot. So they had us go in and train them, and I was supposed to read them PowerPoints.
Mm-hmm.
But the projector didn't work, so I wasn't going to use it anyways. But I wasn't going to use the slides. But we sat down, we just started talking, and some of them actually had some really good shit to say for self care.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, one of them said, I do yoga. And I said, oh, it's really cool. Like, when'd you start doing it? They said, pandemic. And I said, oh, why'd you start doing that? And they're like, well, that's a long story. I was like, oh, did someone tell you to do it? And they said, yeah, friends. I said, okay. They said breathing and meditation. And they also said, never heard of this. So I recommend a lot of people to regulate is they hold on to, or they do an ice bath. So they would put their hands in an ice bath, or like Moonlight, he puts his face into the ice bath.
Yeah.
She said she'll take a lemon or an orange, she'll put it in a Ziploc bag. She cuts
Mm-hmm.
it up, she puts it in a Ziploc bag in quarters, and then she put it in the freezer. And then she'll hold on to that in her hand while it's frozen until it gets like
Mm-hmm.
gushy, and then she'll like tear it apart, kind of like
Mm-hmm.
little Play-Doh-y. And by then she's regulated, she's calmed after her panic attack, whatever. I said, actually, that's pretty therapeutic.
Yeah.
Um, and it's a little bit different and playful compared to just the ice cube.
Mm-hmm.
One boy said that he'll close his eyes and breathe. He'll imagine himself as like this two-dimensional object, so like pretty much this pixelated, like narrow shaft. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I imagine my brain being all these dots floating around, just these little dots. And he said, as I breathe, I bring all the dots into one collective mass in my head.
Mm-hmm.
So as I breathe in, I slow them down. Right as I breathe out, I slow them down. And then finally, when I'm ready, when I blow out for a deep breath, I let all the dots escape, and then I'm relaxed. So that's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Because it gets you to physically think about slowing down all the thoughts, aka the dots. So I like that. He's like, yeah, I combined some of these meditation and yoga things that I do. I said, okay, look at y'all. The next person said, I like to weightlift. The next person goes, well, I don't really have any. I just, I'm just not stressed. I'm like, you ain't stressed? No, I don't feel anxiety. I said, why when I ask you to say something, you start getting red and like hyperventilating and shit?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that didn't happen. But I just seen it. How you gonna tell me? Whatever. And then it turns out that they like to do Excel sheets, and they
Mm-hmm.
like to organize their Google Calendar. That makes them gain comfort and control. It's a power up for them.
Okay.
The next person likes to clean
Mm-hmm.
and organize and vacuum and wipe shit down. That's just kind of their thing.
Mm-hmm.
The next boy, he said, well, I don't like going outside. I just want to sit in my room and like play video games. I said, shit, ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Well, everyone else is talking about exercise and all this cool stuff, and I'm just like, don't want to do that. I said, nothing wrong with that, dude.
Hey, video games are cool. You fucking
Yeah.
nerd.
he said the air's bad outside, and I'm like, okay. He's like, well, he meant hot. He's like,
Oh,
it's
I
nice and air conditioning. There's a
was like, it's
language
not
barrier.
wrong. It probably is toxic, but it's
Yeah, it
fine.
probably is. Yeah. But he's like, I just want to play my games and just chill in my room. It's comfortable. It's safe. No one's fucking with me.
Yeah.
The next kid said, I like to take longer showers, hot
Mm-hmm.
showers, and I said, okay,
Yeah.
there we go. We got some good self-care power-ups.
Right.
So there's a difference between self-care,
Mm-hmm.
things that make you feel comfortable, safe, nurtured, and there's a difference between things that are you do during a panic attack or when you need to regulate your emotions because you're pissed off or freaking out. They can be one and the same, but they're two separate categories. One makes you feel comfortable. The other one makes you feel comfortable, but also helps de-escalate your heart rate, your breathing, your sweat glands, all that shit. It helps. increase the parasympathetic hormones, what makes you relax and calm. That way you're not freaking out and thinking that, someone's going to murder you. Metaphorically. So power-ups. What are your power-ups? What makes you feel like you got energy to like go conquer the world?
It's a wow, it's a good boxing technique right there. Look like you're just grabbing like Piccolo's like antennas on his fucking head. I would say, well, there's some things I don't want to do, right? Like some things, like I don't like being isolated in my room and things like that all the time. Don't get me wrong, I like playing video games and stuff like that. That, calms me down and stuff and gets me to kind of not just think about what's going on sometimes. But at the same time, I also don't like being isolated because then I'm not as friendly, not friendly, more I'm not as social if I do that, right? And so that kind of, when I'm not in that mode and then I have to go to like more of a social mode, it's tough to kind of switch between those two. So for me, it's always kind of like, talking with somebody, having conversations, even if it's like through text or something like that. But if I completely like isolate myself, like I'm not talking to anybody and I'm not doing anything to where it's social, then sometimes my mind gets like a little bit fuzzy. It doesn't get out of that mode as easily. Yeah, it gets stuck. And so that, and then I love basketball. Basketball's always helped me kind of. Hey everyone, I wanted to give a special shout out to our collaborator, Two Nerds Candle Company. Not only do they have great products, but they are also giving back to a great cause. You can tell that they take a lot of pride in making their candles. My favorite is Spock's Monday Coffee. They are also donating 10% annually to support Women in STEM, which stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics. You can use our code DSP or go to our link tree to get 20% off your entire order. We think that this company is great, and we think you will too, so go check them out. Hey, this is your co-host Spencer, and I'm bringing you a special message from our collaborator, Silver Dollar Candles. They have great scents to go with great messages, just like Best Dad Ever, True Crime and Chill, and my personal favorite, When This Candle Is Lit, Give Me That. You can also make your own candle and message that fits you. So go use our link in our link tree to get your order placed with Silver Dollar Candles today. Basketball has always helped me, but at the same time, I also get very judgy when I play basketball on myself.
You get competitive.
Yes. Yeah. Very competitive. And
so competitive you lose your ACLs.
Apparently, and my Achilles too. So thanks for bringing that up. Appreciate that, you bastard.
I picked at your weakness. I'm sorry.
You son of a bitch. You said you don't do that. You lied. You lied.
Yo, peddling ass motherfucker.
God damn it.
Yo, disabled
Fuck
ass.
You. Fuck you. Why don't you read this, you fucking piece of shit?
You like Floyd Mayweather. 7.
There's no numbers. But yeah, so basketball's always helped, but I've had to actually get myself out of just utilizing basketball and physical activities because I wasn't able to do that. And so this show actually really helps me because I'm able to talk with you, talk with our guests, and then also do some research and things like that into our guests and the topics. And so gets my mind going, and I like that. And so this show really helps me kind of get my mind going and thinking in different directions instead of just like one way. Right.
So it gets the creativity going, gets your hyperfixation going, gets you some momentum.
Yeah. I mean, when I'm like, sometimes, like I said before in a podcast, I've had times where I'm at the gym and then I have an idea and I need to go home so I can actually do the idea and be like, okay, this is what we need to do. So
we talked about it. Sometimes I'll come up with shit too. And I'm like, damn, I should have wrote that down. And you're like, man, I got a little book that I write things down in.
Yeah.
Um,
Do that, or I use my phone that has like a pen, and so that helps too. Because sometimes just writing it out feels a lot better and makes me like memorize and feel it a little bit
feels
more than
real. It
just being
feels
like,
more emotional, connected.
yeah.
Yep. See, special interest. So your power up, and what we talked about right before this with Mario, is
Mm-hmm.
some people might not want us to do pods, and some
Mm-hmm.
people have shit on us about the pod, and what's the point, or it's dumb, or you guys are like being weird and funny and not really
Yeah.
educational, and you're
Right.
swearing, or there's people already doing that, movie reviews. I'm like, well, we're not doing movie reviews. We're like trying to make scenes and metaphors and relays so people can find and figure out their emotions, so people can seek validation through things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the funny thing is one of these individuals that said it was stupid. I invited them to the podcast the other day just to put it in their face, like, hey, we're actually doing really well, and we have therapists from around the world, and wonderful, awesome, beautiful people, and would
Mm-hmm.
you want to join? They were like, yeah, but I'm busy and this and that. I just want to ask you because it's doing so well.
Mm. Yeah.
Eat it,
even,
fucker.
even if you're not watching right now,
Eat it.
eat it.
Eat it. I think about even my birthday that just passed on September 12th, and I think about how my dad told my brother to get a gift for me. And he
Mm-hmm.
told him, hey, make sure you get like him a stuffed animal. My brother comes back with a puzzle, a Thanos puzzle. So it was still a good puzzle, but it was just a puzzle and stuffed animal.
Great puzzle.
A little different.
It
A little different.
was a great puzzle. Great puzzle.
To be fair, I have most of the stuffed animals that are probably at Walmart anyways right now, but he could have got
Yeah.
me a Ninja Turtle. Whatever. I still love the puzzle.
Oh
We're
my
gonna do
god! I'm just saying. I could have got
it.
me.
He ain't shit. Old peg leg ass mom.
Oh my god! So many peg legs around you.
I don't understand.
You just surround yourself with peg legs. Like,
Where I feel tall.
what if they really tall peg legs?
Yeah, motherfucker, I got
Then you
extenders.
chop them down.
Yeah, I'll sand your leg off. I'll sand just one side so you walk with a gimp.
Oh my god! Fucking evil.
They did that on New Girl. Nick, he sanded down like one of his shoes so his hip
Oh,
fell
yeah.
off and shit. He was shorter.
See, this is why New Girls is just toxic. It's a
Toxic.
toxic
Oh,
show.
so toxic. Yeah.
So toxic.
He's like, I think I spent like a lot of money. And she's like, how much money on these pranks? He's like, $1,500. He was like, that was more like $2,000. He was like, I spent $3,500. So stupid.
Yeah, so good.
Power ups for me. This pod, when we hit our strides, is always a
Yeah.
power up.
Yeah.
I think a good lift, good exercise always feels good. Obviously, for me, food, getting a good ass meal, getting like full to where you
Food.
pass out, probably not the healthiest. Is what it is. I'm like, damn, I can't see.
Left eye is very blurry today.
Yeah, I know. I think having those moments where I can just talk cash shit with someone and where I get to use all my, mannerisms and my fake voices and all that, that's always
Yeah.
feels good.
Yeah, that's a good one. I
Yep.
definitely have to say that it's up there for me too. Now that I think about it,
Yeah.
because
When you can be
just
like
being able
just
to like quick talk shit has always
so good.
been so fun.
Yep. It's fun. Even when I get to do it with clients sometimes, I'm like, so what you're saying is people think you're stupid. And they're like, why'd you say it like that? Because you're stupid.
You're a dum dum.
Yeah. And they are so not. This
Yeah.
human was not dumb at all. And I was like, we standing up for each other. You ain't leaving this fucking room.
Mhm.
Straight up. Unless you say that you're gonna do this and not take no more shit from people and then demand respect.
Mhm.
And I remember that human was like, yep, okay. Fist bump, let's go. Let's get it. See you in a
Mhm.
couple weeks. That's how it was. And they did it too. So power ups can look different for everyone. For neurodivergent folks, it could be anything. And remember that it might be isolated and away from the family dynamic. Don't take that as a sign of disrespect. They don't love you. But many of the things are on our own, vibing. Whatever it is. Whatever it is. So try not to take offense to that. Because like, oh, but people should be with family and they should have friends, and maybe they do have those, but their power up is going to be restorative.
Hmm.
And you can still have joy. Like I have a ton of joy being around people, but also, there's a time and a place.
Yeah.
As we talked about on one of the pods that'll come out next month with Keyshawn is, this introverts, there's certain times when we want to go out, and there's certain times when we need to say yes, when we say no, but sometimes we need to be pulled out of our shell, but being pulled out of your shell too much.
Mm-hmm.
This is a shell, right? Is he a turtle? What the hell is this guy?
He's like a turtle, a big turtle alligator dragon thing.
He's
Because
a
he shoots
turtle
fire.
alligator dragon thing.
Yeah. That's how I kind of go for what
What
he
autistic person made this up?
we'll find him.
We'll find him. We'll find him and we're gonna talk to him.
No, they did. Well.
Yeah. So power ups. I want you all to think about that and, navigating the world and making sure that you know what they are and when you need them. Specifically, what Spencer said. When do you need to make sure that you don't do things that drain you? Because that's just as valuable as having a power up, is making sure you don't have something soul sucking, life force taking. Let's negate some of those things and then add in a few other things. Well, Nas, I don't have time to add in more shit. Okay. Let's take away some of the bad things that are draining you, and let's just increase some of the things you're already doing by 5 minutes. You're already reading at night, increase it by 5 minutes. You're already taking these hot showers, increase it by 3 minutes. I'm using up all the water. We ain't got none in California. Oh, okay. Well, now you're just bullshitting and you're just coming up with excuses. I see you driving a Hummer, so I don't know what you care about no damn water.
And you already know people hate you for doing that over there, so you obviously don't care about it.
It's like a new girl when they go to the desert and he's like, "You want ice in your drink? Oh, you California people just wasting my water." Jesus. He's like, desert
what a
people.
show.
I know. A very fun way to think about it in therapy. So when you're with your therapist people, when you're thinking about fun things, think about your self-care as a power-up. It gives you a more fun vibe to it. If you're working with your children or those that are on the spectrum that may be a little bit more nonverbal and they like Super Mario's, they like nerdier things, maybe try and craft and teach individuals with this type of metaphor. And that way they'll be like, oh, yeah. And maybe they'll eat some vegetables. Those motherfuckers think they'll get strong.
I will say that there was this one dad who his son is like nonverbal and stuff like that. And what he does is he learned that he's not, he is verbal, but I forgot what it was. Oh my gosh. I'm messing up right now, but he actually cuts his hair for his son, right? And his son is very sensitive to like noises and sounds and stuff like that and feelings, and so he learned how to like cut his hair and stuff like that. I'll send you the profile. I forgot what the dad's name is, but he's pretty great. And
I think I might have seen that, or I might have seen a barber that cuts a lot of people that is neurodivergent kids' hair too.
Yeah, I think I might have sent you that one too.
But maybe the dad is the barber of like all these other people, or maybe the dad's just a dad that cuts his hair.
No, I think it's just the dad who just does it for his son. Yeah.
Yep. And so some folks will use things to distract the kids or to be playful with the kids, or they'll find ways to engage them. That way they're not fully sensing the blade itself.
Yeah.
Again, power up.
Yeah.
How do you increase your mental well-being to handle life in the jungle gym, the obstacle course it is, which we all know to be pretty freaking depressing and pretty stressful? Let's be real. Life is hard as shit. And like Keyshawn said, and you'll see from a month now, it's about all these good moments, but you got to go find the good moments. They ain't just coming to you. Life doesn't work like that. And if it does just happen to pop up into the room, that's not a good thing, right? That's like fucking weird. So keep that in mind, folks. Power ups. Creative way, different way. That's why I wanted to do this scene. Just fun. Pure fun.
Yeah. Why not?
All right. Last scene.
Yes. So the last scene is the last scene of, last couple scenes of the movie where Mario's facing Bowser for the final battle. Lost pretty bad. Guy's ass whooped. Been
there.
Yeah. Been there. and then so he's hiding out, and then everyone else, Peach, Kong, and Luigi start fighting Bowser instead, and then they're losing, but then Mario comes out. He's like, hey, we about to do this. About to do this. And then as he's about to grab the superstar, um, Luigi helps protect Mario from the flames of the righteous. Okay, just squishing Patrick Star.
Oh, it's a star.
Oh, that makes sense. And then, of course, they both get the star and then whoop Bowser's ass. So, what are we going for in this scene?
I think what I wanted to tack was, obviously it's cool to whip like folks' ass and like get your mojo and go handle business.
Just kind of like how you did in that one person, just being like, hey, look at us now. Look at our fucking podcast. It's balling right now. You want to come on? Oh, no.
I don't want your ass on, no way.
Bam.
Best part of that scene is actually the beginning where he gets his ass kicked.
Mm-hmm.
He's like scared, defeated, and it's like in WWE when like the person's getting mollywopped, and then you know they're down, they're out, they're not breathing, they're unconscious, whatever. And then the crowd starts clapping, and they start clapping faster, and then the person's like, and they start doing the Hulk Hogan, and I can feel the power.
Oh, I thought he was having a seizure.
No,
what's happening?
I can feel the Jesus.
Is that what happens in WWE?
No, that's not what happens.
Oh, okay.
And all right, then they start like turning things around, and they start have this comeback. I think it's really cool to see the intersection where he sees the commercial of him and his brother. He's talking about like, hey, we're superheroes. We're the Super Mario Brothers. We're here to help and protect. He finds it in himself of what his why is and why he's doing this and how much love he has and how he's not going to let his city, his town, his family be destroyed. And so he goes out there knowing that he'll probably be defeated, but it would be rather to die fighting than live forever like in this shame. He would rather die on his sword as a warrior than live as a coward. Death before dishonor. And I think a lot of us, when we get our backs against the wall, we find out who we really are, as Joker says in Batman. Want to know who they were at the very end? I'll tell you who they were. And so we see who he is. We see what he stands for, his morals, his values, his convictions. He goes out there and he says, hey, stop. But that moment where he's defeated and hurt and down, sees the commercial and turns it around. In therapy, you can die in those moments in life where you've hit the bottom, or the metaphorical bottom, or your theoretical bottom. And you can live there. And as we talked about with everyone, right, we all go through bouts of depression, and you can stay there if you want to for a couple months. But the further and further you stay there, now you're imposing this own suffering on yourself. There's ways to get out of that suffering. And this other good life is there waiting for you. You just might have to take one small baby step towards it. I say this as someone who's been through these things. I say this as someone that knows one day he will go through even more hardship with loss, with pain, with agony. To love anything is to know that you will lose it, whether it be video games and your eyesight, or your hands and your arthritis, your mobility, loved ones, family, wives. As we know, I just went to a funeral a couple of weeks ago. You could even lose children. And so are we going to sit in it and then lose all the other connections and just live in misery? Because that's not a life. There's many other people there. I can get into a long existential thing. My thing is that moment in therapy when they decide to come to your office, and they may think that they don't need it because they're being soft or they're too broken. And then I'm like, we got this. Actually, we're going to work together. We're going to figure this out. That is one of the most wonderful moments when you can see someone open their eyes, breathe out, and they look at you and they said, let's do it. I'll see you in 2 weeks. Let's grind. That's why I wanted to do that scene. Really don't have much other tomato sauce to put on that. That's it. Is there comes a moment in everyone's life when they can lay there or they can stand up.
Mm-hmm.
A Batman saying is what Alfred says um, in the Batman Returns, or no, what is it called? The first one with the
Batman Begins.
Batman Begins, and he's stuck in like the bottom of this pit, and the fire's
Mm-hmm.
burning his house, and Alfred keeps saying it. Why did we fall? Why did we fall? And when he's down and the house is burning towards the very end in the last scene, he says, "We fall so we can learn to get back up."
Mm-hmm.
And he gets out of the fire. We fall so we can learn to get back up. It's not about always losing and winning or how many times you fall. Sometimes it's about just learning and how to stabilize. And sometimes you will have to fall. You know, I really enjoyed that human that hope the podcast will come out next month in October.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he said something about, life is hard. Uh, and he said it's all about these moments between your birth date and your death point. And he said, just because you go through bad times doesn't mean that you have to stay there. And I was like, he was good. Sometimes I get surprised by people.
Yeah.
I think I enjoyed him. He obviously wasn't a therapist, but I enjoyed him
Yeah.
because he thought like my brain does, and I enjoyed it. It made me feel validated.
Mm-hmm. I think he's going to be a great therapist one day,
Yep.
or life coach, whatever he chooses to be.
Whatever he tries to do, most likely he's going to be a social worker. So he's going to end up
Oh,
working with a lot of
that.
people in the social work realm. If he does the life coach thing, then that'll be more in the community, at a company, or online.
Mm-hmm.
So that was it. Whatever that point is, try to identify it and know that maybe this is maybe the time. Um, Spence, you can put some sauce on it if you want to, but that's pretty much. I feel good about that scene and that metaphor, that genre.
Yeah.
Therapy is only what helps them get to go reach the star so they can become Super Mario.
Mm-hmm.
Or your friends and having all them and the loved ones when you get ready to go kick Bowser's ass.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone knows what that moment is. Everyone knows what that moment is. Or maybe it's many moments over many years. We've all got that moment. And so I
Mm-hmm.
think that was just a cool parallel to talk about.
Yeah. Totally. Um. Yeah. I don't have much for this show, but you know what? It was good. Nice little short one for our fans out there that are like 2 hours. God damn.
What y'all talking about? We ain't even talking.
Shit. Well, no, we just
We just
just
listening to
make
music.
noises with our mouths.
Yep. Womp womp. Um, and it's just a fun movie. Overall, it's just a
Yeah.
fun movie. It's meant for kids. Oh, we all used to be kids, asshole. Calm down.
Let me tell you something. There are a lot of kids movies that I still watch to this day because they just play through time. That's
They're
how it
fun,
goes. Yeah.
enjoyable. They're nostalgic.
Yes. Yeah. I will say, touch on like just kids movies today just a little bit. There's some kids movies where they treat kids like they're dumb and they can't really feel these emotions, right? So they dumb it down and be like, "Oh, it's a kids movie. It's supposed to be like dumb or whatever." And I'm like, "You don't understand like where especially we came from. A lot of kids movies have a lot of big adult themes like death and all this type of stuff that
Yeah.
we had to kind of see. And you know what? It for me it made me understand things a little bit better because I can see these characters, love these characters, and I can understand them a little bit more, right? And
Yeah.
so I wish they would kind of stop giving that like excuse like, oh, it's a kids movie, it doesn't, it's supposed to be like dumb and lighthearted. It's like maybe sometimes, sure, but for the most part, I think a lot of these kids can understand these adult themes and try to process them instead of just kind of being like, we need to do things like in 7 seconds or else they won't get it. I think
Yeah.
they will.
I think they will too. Like even the Super Mario Brother, it's a come-up-in story
Yeah.
about someone who's beaten, battered by family, society. He
Mm-hmm.
trains and he gets better. It's about love, platonic and romantic.
Mm-hmm.
It's about some delusional thinking from Bowser. And anger and sadness, lonely, isolation. We can also talk about autism, hyperfixation on how we idolize certain relationships and we fantasize about certain relationships, but actually might not want them or might not actually try to get them because avoidant personality issues and rejection. So that Bowser and his neurospicy stuff is quite interesting. But there's a lot of complex things just in this. If you look hard enough, well, I can hear someone going, "Well, y'all are pulling at strings." I mean, it's there. If I can pick it up, then there's possibly a kid could pick it up. This is how we learn how emotions and how to adult is through film. People don't get it. That's what we do.
Yeah, totally. Totally agree.
That's why we do this show. But before this show, this is how we learn shit. We're like, ooh, that's a feeling. That's an emotion.
Emotion.
Emotion. Emotion. I think that's from a movie. I don't know.
Is it?
It's probably for New Girl. Yeah, that's a very good point. I think it's fine to show children some things like this. Now, I ain't trying to show them, no Cardi B music video. You're right, but stuff like this, yeah, stuff like this is good. Be surprised what children can handle. Be surprised. You'd be surprised at how much us adults miss in these movies because we're not paying attention.
True. We're just like, kids movie, it's going to be blah, 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 blah. But there are some, like you said, some very subtextual things that are going on in the movie, and you can really see it. So
you're like, oh, yeah, power-ups. Power up.
Power up.
Cha-cha-cha. Okay. Let's give the people a break and let's get out of here.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Like I said before, go check out our collaborators. We have Bub's Naturals, Cure Hydration, all of the lovely people at Silver Dollar Candle, Two Nerds Candle Company, and then Cat and Raven Company. Go check out our link tree. Has all the great stuff in there for self-help, as well as all of our discounts on our great collaborators. Go check out our merch. And what are your power-ups? We'll leave them with that. What are your power-ups?
Good question.
Yeah, leave it in the comments wherever you're watching, or if we don't have comments there, go onto our YouTube or our Instagram. We love to read them, or you can DM us, and we'll answer you there. DM us.
Slide up in the DM.
The DM.
Slide in the DM. Send me a little DM. Be like, nah. This is what I feel like.
Always gets so weird.
I hate emotions.
Emotional damage. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. I'm Spencer. Oh, before we go, Super Mario Bros. On Peacock. Check it out.
Check it out. Very good movie. Fun.
Out. There you go. And with that, I'm Spencer. That's Nas. This is the Different Spectrums podcast.
All right, people. Remember, much love and take care of yourselves.
Or don't.
And that's completely up to you, honey. Peace.
Bye. It's me, Mario.
Mario.